made your journey less rocky on that entrepreneur show a few weeks ago. And now, because of me learning all about her mental health journey, I have the chance to bring her on a mental health break this time. So thank you so much for coming on show number 2.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. If you missed her first episode on the series of my podcast, That Entrepreneur Show, it's in the show description. She gave a lights out performance, so I'm expecting a good one here today as well. The show is at A Mental Health Break on all social media, and I am at Vincent A. Lancy on all social. Be sure to head to the YouTube channel, Vincent A. Lancy, where you will find videos from today's show. And before we kick off, I have to show some love, as always, to Carlos Garcia, our show partner at Tampa Counseling and Wellness, who does so much for the community here in Tampa and beyond. They've just added a lot of new services over there, so be sure to head to tampacw.com, check them out. But for today, we're checking out Crystal's journey. She's going to help a lot of people today. Crystal, from wherever you feel comfortable, let's touch on your mental health journey. What brought you here today?
Hold on, I got to go over to tampacw.com and check it out. I'll be right
Yeah.
back.
Carlos is a true inspiration of mine. Very proud to call him a friend. We do a lot of work together now. He is a veteran, former fireman. He's done everything with helping people, and now this is the next step to his journey. They expanded over there at Tampa Counseling and Wellness. I could talk about him all day. He's one of the good guys. But as far as your journey, Crystal, let's hear your story.
Yeah. So my story, my real story, I guess, the story we want to talk about, started in 2009, 2010. I fell pregnant with my first daughter, Madelyn Elizabeth. And at 32 weeks, we went in for what we thought was a routine ultrasound, only to get the words that no parent should ever have to hear. Something's not right. I'm going to go get the doctor. 2 weeks later, my Madelyn Elizabeth, was born via a classic emergency C-section. She lived for 8 hours, and then she died in my arms the next day. And of course, that's the Reader's Digest version. I could talk for days if you wanted me to.
But something I would like to shed a light on is how you've shed light on this experience where something traumatic happened, but you make her memory profound, even in her short life. Let's talk about how you're doing that. I think it's very admirable. And now to see it growing the way it is, obviously, because that's how me and you got in touch for the other show, That Entrepreneur Show. I came across your business. Very proud of you. Let's hear about it.
Yeah. So about 5 years after Madelyn died, the concept of sharing solace hit me like a bolt of lightning. And the only way I can describe it is Madelyn was finally saying, "It's about freaking time, Mom. Let's get out of this, hole of self-deprecation and let's start helping some people." And I know that sounds a little woo-hooey, but there's no other way to describe it. And from 2015 on, I have been going 150% as fast as I possibly can to share my story and to share the mission of Sharing Solace in hopes that I can help other grievers through the grieving process.
Exactly. And exactly how does Sharing Solace do that for everyone who is not familiar with?
Yeah. So we have kind of two different arms. We have the services side, one-on-one grief Sherpa-ing. We have speaking and workshops and all that good stuff. But the part that is really near and dear to my heart is the product side. So we actually have physical, tangible products. And we say that our mission is to help grievers grieve and lovers love their griever through technology, elevated, pass-alongable gifts that are wrapped in a community of strength and support.
And I think the other part that I'll even give you a shout out here with, where you pass these on at some point, you can pass them on. Describe that.
Yep. So we have a necklace and a keychain right now. And the idea is that you keep your peace near your heart or in your pocket as long as it brings you comfort. And when it doesn't bring you that same comfort that it once did, it kind of symbolizes that you're ready to release the debilitating, all-consuming, acute grief. Mm-hmm. And that is when you take out the middle token inside your locket. That middle token then goes into a new locket from our website, and you pay that new locket and token on to someone else as they move along their own grief journey. But really, our secret sauce lies in the fact that each of our middle tokens, the piece that passes from person to person, has a unique identifier on it that allows you to register it on our website. And you can actually follow that middle token as it moves from person to person and share your story if you'd like.
Certainly a job well done. And I think having that piece of comfort brought to somebody in a grieving time can only do nothing but improve their mental health at a time where it's, as you mentioned, you were in a hole, things got tough. But what are some things you did to improve your mental health when the tough got going there? Everyone out there knows for me, I'm a big reader. I like to go to the gym, my exercise, my mental health boost. What are some things that work for you here, Crystal?
So I think, first of all, that you need to kind of work through the bitter before you can decide to get better. Mm-hmm. There's that quote, life can make you bitter or better. I think that it's a spectrum and a process. You got to go through the bitter mm-hmm. and then decide to be better. Otherwise, you stay in bitter the rest of your life. And it's almost like I hit rock bottom and was like, okay, I either need to fish or cut bait at this point.
I can agree. And even in my situation, it was either, okay, and I use this a lot, sit and sulk, cry, why me, or I turn something terrible into something a little brighter, at least for others, because I'm able to share my story, my experiences. Everyone out there, you may think you're the only one who's gone through something. That's not the case, I promise. Even mine, I'm not the only person to get hit by a car. I'm not the only person to be hit by a drunk driver. I'm not the only person to have a traumatic brain injury. These are all things that I went through, that there are other people out there. I've met so many TBI people just based off this show, people tuning in, which is very special. We've learned a lot today. We shared your journey. We've learned how you're helping others improve their mental health. We learned how you improve your mental health. Here now, I want to touch on, before I ask for your contact info, where we can find out more about you. On your mental health journey, or at least for me, I'm always a work in progress. I'm always trying to improve each and every day. You find other ways in the future that you're going to keep raising awareness? You mentioned you like to share your story. Are there other areas that we can look out for to support you with?
Well, I love to share my story, mostly because, for two reasons. One, I love to be able to say my Madelyn's name with a smile on my heart, as opposed to a "oh, woe is me" mentality.
Right.
And I feel like by sharing my story of infant loss, infertility, just the whole gambit, I am shedding a light and hopefully encouraging others to share their story as well. Because it does, statistically, I could tell you all the statistics, 1 in 4 and 65 a day, blah, 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 blah. And also when you're in it, you feel completely isolated. Emotionally, you feel completely alone, and logically, you can know all the stats and all the numbers, and they just don't mesh. So what I'm actually working on right now is my take of the healing journey, I guess, and what I have learned through, over the last almost 14 years. Because I am an avid reader, I'm a lifelong learner. I love it all, especially when I find something that I'm passionate about. And so I'm turning the bits and pieces that I have found that worked for me and kind of gave me an aha moment. Mm-hmm. I'm turning them into, I'm calling it an experience because I hate program or challenge or anything like that. I'm calling it the Feel Your Bleeping Feels.
I love it. I can't wait to hear about when it's released. We'll have to get the information to share with the network, but I can't thank you enough for having the courage to share your story again and again to help everybody out there. Where can we find you online?
SharingSolace.com is the best place to find me. All of my contact information is there. Of course, we're on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the app that formerly used to be known as Twitter, like all of the places.
Yeah, it comes up as X. I mean, I don't go on Twitter personally. I barely use social media in general, but it's not called Twitter anymore. That's all I know. It doesn't have the blue bird. It's an X.
It's next.
But
Yeah.
thank you so much again for coming on. Everyone, be sure to go check out all her work online. Again, we are at A Mental Health Break, and I am at Vincent A. Lancy. Be sure to follow the accounts to stay current and tap the subscribe button for this show if you enjoyed today's episode. With that, we are signing off from Kansas down to St. Petersburg. Thank you so much, Crystal. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.